Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 230. We are in the midst of the most high-level Jujutsu battle in the manga, and this newest chapter is oh so glorious. Today we will be breaking down this chapter in all of its depth and what it means for this fight moving forward in the future, so let's hop straight into it. We start the chapter, of course, with Destruction Incarnate, the crown jewel of the Zenin clan, Mahoraga, emerging after breaking Gojo's domain expansion. At first, I wondered why people like Mei and Chozo would know about what this Shikigami is, but if you have some connection to the Jujutsu world, then much like how the Gojo clan's curse technique information was leaked, then the Zenin clan might have also had their esoteric abilities leaked as well. Gojo is well aware of Mahoraga's abilities. The narrator referenced in Irozu's fight, he used the adaptation ability or the Dharma Chakra wheel to see through her techniques, so it's further confirmation how the wheel is used in combat. Moving on though, something much clearer now in the TCB scans is how Gojo and Sukuna's domain expansion sure hit effects work. Throughout these 5 domain expansion battles, their sure hits cancelled out. Gojo's sure hit targeted everything in the domain, everything probably including himself as well, and Sukuna's sure hit targets everything other than himself. So Gojo's sure hit that targets Sukuna is still in effect, almost as if Sukuna isn't protecting himself. So when their domains cancel out, the result looks like this. So for these 5 domain expansions, he continued to take on Unlimited Void and shouldered the burden of Mahoraga's adaptation. But the one to shoulder this burden wasn't Sukuna, it was someone else. Just then, Gojo thinks to himself and wonders, he adapted to Unlimited Void within 0.01 seconds? There's just no way. Not only did the wheel not turn, but he only summoned Mahoraga after he took my attack. Did Sukuna take on the burden of Mahoraga's adaptation ability? No. The one taking the damage to use the adaptation was Megumi's soul. So wow, it seems in each instance of Unlimited Void, Megumi was the one who took on the burden of that infinite void because Sukuna doesn't guard himself with that sure hit apparently. Megumi has been adapting in the shadows this whole time, and it's actually impressive how Gojo can see Megumi's soul, but what a crazy strategy on Sukuna's part. Sukuna put Makora back into the shadows, I'd assume so it doesn't get one shot, and Gojo is glad that Sukuna is acting so desperately. However, Sukuna says look who's talking. As part of Sukuna's plan, Unlimited Void was an ability that activates once inside Gojo's domain expansion, so Sukuna wanted to get rid of this domain as a card because he saw it as a burden. While unable to use amplification, Sukuna had Megumi adapt to Unlimited Void using the Dharma Chakra wheel. And because of that, Sukuna was unable to use any other techniques besides his own domain expansions, cleave and dismantle. This is in line with Gojo's dialogue in chapter 228, and we finally see the payoff for this plan. Gojo mentions Megumi's soul didn't actually adapt, but he took on the process of the adaptation, not the result. So if Gojo opens his domain expansion again, Mahoraga won't be able to bail Sukuna out this time, and Gojo will destroy it with one attack. However, unbeknownst to Gojo, he cannot open his domain expansion again, and Yuta's theory was actually correct. Gojo is overexerting himself. Healing a burnt out curse technique is strenuous. Sukuna explains roughly around the prefrontal cortex, a curse technique is engraved in the brain. Gojo has been using cursed energy to damage his brain and using reverse curse technique, which also stems from the brain, to heal his burnt out curse technique. This process is enough to kill most sorcerers, and many of them like Yuta shouldn't even try it once. And Gojo did this 5 times already. Imagine an engine getting overheated and Gojo is forcing it at full throttle with no cooldown. Usakabe refers to the origin of how curse techniques are engraved in the brain is like a black box, meaning they do not know how it works or its source is unknown. So healing from it is not as simple. Sukuna also had a black box appear when he summoned his flame techniques, and he also seemed to have known a lot about this specific mechanic for the brain. So maybe this represents Sukuna's understanding of the brain and Jujutsu. He also said a cursed spirit like Jogo would know what he's doing, since curse and humans' brains, we know now, they are different. So maybe this is a human specific thing that will be explored in the near future. Shoko was the first to mention how Gojo can fry his brain from constantly using his curse technique, and also she was told in chapter 76 that he can heal himself with constant reverse curse technique for a fresh brain at all times. So So she thought Gojo was used to this by now, but after all of this, it seems he's suffering the sequela or the consequence from this process. Sukuna has done less of this, so he has more leeway. But it's interesting, even this high-level RCT move is dangerous to even the strongest and most skilled sorcerers. This limit is completely separate from healing flesh and bone. It's the highest level of reverse curse technique. Gojo is in a very tough spot, actually on his knees, and Sukuna explains even if he could use domain expansion, it would kill him, or it wouldn't be precise enough to oppose him anyway. Sukuna is now able to close his domain expansion in order to trap Gojo inside of that domain expansion shell with nowhere left to run. And as a cherry on top, while he cuts up Gojo, Sukuna will also adapt to his infinity. He calls Gojo out, mocking him as the strongest because he was born in an era where Sukuna didn't exist, and the downplay is crazy because he calls Gojo painfully ordinary or unenlightened, and he tries to kill him with his domain expansion as a final goodbye. However, Sukuna's malevolent shrine breaks instantly to everyone's surprise, and Sukuna suffers serious brain damage the moment he tried to expand his domain. It hasn't even been 10 seconds since Sukuna took a blow from Unlimited Void. However, his brain sustained enough damage to make domain expansion impossible, just like Gojo. Gojo then laughs at Sukuna's fumble because no matter how minuscule that amount of time was, he still took Unlimited Void for enough time that it hit Sukuna pretty damn hard, and this is only the after effect. Gojo points at the crows and says his students are watching, so he's gonna go ahead and keep showing off. Gojo uses an application of blue to pull Sukuna in and give him a strong punch square in the jaw. The chapter echoes Yorozu's words, the loneliness that comes with unrivaled strength, the one who will teach you about love is, and now of course we have a much clearer indication this fight has entered round 2, and Gojo will be the one to teach Sukuna not about actual love, but to give Sukuna a real challenge no one else can, to show him, prove to him he's not just some fish, not some guy, some weakling, but Gojo is the strongest, and Sukuna will realize that. It seems in this new stage, domains have now been exhausted as an option, and now we will probably focus on raw curse technique usage and other aspects of Jujutsu. I often see some fans might be tired of the domains constantly, but I find them super interesting because we have learned so much over the course of this battle about domain expansion combat through these last chapters, and each domain had various conditions and outcomes. It's literally the payoff from all that we learned throughout the series. And now it's like we reset the board because neither side yields. The Dharma Chakra will definitely play a crucial role in this battle. Hand to hand, it's pretty clear Gojo has been giving Sukuna the business. He can flail him around, negate physical attacks with infinity, and mix taijutsu with his limitless in a devastating combo. Blue for speed and telekinesis and other attributes, red for big damage or pushing Sukuna back. He can fly, teleport, dodge. Gojo is the real deal, but Sukuna is also the real deal. So I'm curious on how he approaches this fight without domains. Using the wheel, he probably has a good chance to adapt and overcome over the limitless, but I think Mahoraga is the main tool to actually use the adaptation offensively. But if Sukuna can use the adaptation like what was hinted with Megumi, then maybe he wouldn't need to do that. But I'm curious what Sukuna will do. Hopefully soon we will actually see Sukuna's true curse technique and maybe some indication on his demon form. There's probably a good amount of us just waiting on Sukuna to say, you know, open, or for him to use Yorozu's weapon or his own cursed tools like the Vajra dagger, the Trishula trident. But I'm trying to figure out how any of that really gets past or bypasses Gojo's Infinity series, but Sukuna must have something in mind. Maybe, you know, his cursed tools or his curse techniques negate techniques like Inverted Sphere of Heaven, and you know, this is just going to be an insane Jujutsu battle. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below how you feel about the chapter, who has the lead, or really who will pull ahead because they're both stuck in the same boat. But let me know in the comments below. This is a great time to be reading Jujutsu Kaisen. Look out for more content like this in the future. This has been Enemy Stand User, and I'll see you awesome brothers and sisters in the next one.